He's an average kid that no one understands. Mom and Dad and Vicki always giving him commands.
At first glance, the early Nickelodeon children's show, The Fairly Odd Parents, starring Timmy Turner, the boy with magical fairy godparents, is a bright and colorful cartoon. Growing up, we are sure you were like us, and were jealous of Timmy Turner's magically granted wishes. As time goes on, and the show has officially come to a close in recent years, fans have mustered up a more dark reality of what was really going on in the life of Timmy Turner. Drugs, abuse, deception, and one hell of an imagination all took place in Dimsdale, California. Welcome to the disturbing life of Timmy Turner. Postulate 1. Abuse by Icky Vicki. One of the most compelling reasonings for this argument can actually be stated in one of the earliest airings of Fairly Odd Parents. In the episode, Vicki loses her Icky. The mayor of Dimsdale unveils the Welcome to Dimsdale, nicest town on earth sign. However, at the end of the episode, the President of the United States of America changes the word nicest to meanest. Now, in case you are unfamiliar with the world of Timmy Turner, Vicki was Turner's babysitter growing up. Originally, the main antagonist, she was known as the abusive babysitter who would torment and antagonize Timmy. How many episodes have we witnessed where Timmy Turner was blamed for wrecking the house or her threatening Timmy on multiple occasions?
I begged him to stop! He was too strong! To your room, bad seed!
So why does Timmy Turner's parents constantly continue to choose to leave their only son in the hands of Vicki? Well, Timmy is just too scared to say the truth to his parents, and that's a sad reality we actually see in real life. And his parents, in our opinion, wouldn't even stop to care. Postulate 2. Dinkleberg. As we all know, Timmy's dad is envious of his neighbors.
Hey, looking good, Turner!
Dinkleberg!
Constantly admiring and grieving over their success and awards. The Dinkleberg family name is a reference to Dink, D-I-N-K, which is an acronym for dual income, no kids. Hence, the Dinklebergs have an enormous amount of wealth that makes Timmy's dad so envious. Timmy's dad resents his son for feeling his child was a roadblock to all that could have been. See, the sad reality about Timmy isn't really that much of a secret, as the best secrets are kept in plain sight. Every time you'd boot up the old TV series, in the opening theme song, the line, "Doom and gloom up in his room," shadowed the harshness of a child who was clearly mistreated and neglected by his parents. No respect, no care for their son. These images of Timmy's dad at Dictator College and this famous scene of,
"That's me graduating Dictator College. This is me taking over the world with smiles. And this is where I'd put a trophy. If I had one! Sorry, lost the happy, but the happy's back!"
See, this is a direct strike on Timmy, showing his son, you're the reason. This brings us full circle, if you will, to the show's main focus, the fairy godparents who grant him wishes. Timmy Turner's loss of a caring home and parents are represented in his fairy godparents. Postulate 3. Drugs for hugs. This theory we're about to mention, at least part of it, is actually credited to a Reddit user who pointed out that his fairies, Cosmo and Wanda, are actually metaphors for antidepressants. Taking a trip back to grade school, this is just personification at its highest drug-infused form. So, in medical terminology, Cosmo and Wanda are really Zoloft and Prozac, while other characters represent different drugs. For instance, the strongest fairy in the quote-by-quote fairy world is Jorgen von Strangle, which it doesn't take a genius to figure out he is a textbook case of steroids. Timmy Turner's drug-induced mind created these fairies as a way to escape and protect him from the harms he faces. On top of this, it gives him the true love and family feel that his reality parents cannot give him. Makes sense, as most of Timmy's wishes never really had any long-term effects, as in the end his problems are never solved with this magic, and he usually solves them on his own. Because the sad truth is, he really just is on his own. The fairy world he visits is just one hell of a trip, and this ultimately is just a kid playing pretend with his pet goldfish. Maybe you're asking yourself how others view the existence of these fairies. More important, Mr. Crocker, Timmy Turner's teacher.
Fairy godparents!
Postulate 4. Sexual abuse. For anyone that has watched The Fairly Odd Parents, you would know that Timmy Turner's school teacher, Mr. Crocker, has an obsession with stealing Timmy Turner's fairy godparents.
Fairy godparents! Fairy godparents! Fairy godparents! Fairy godparents!
What if this is just a giant metaphor? What if stealing Timmy's fairies is just a more PC way of saying that Mr. Crocker is just making advances on stealing Timmy's innocence as a child? Take a look at Mr. Crocker, Denzel Quincy Crocker, still living at home with his mother. A room filled with pictures of wands and fairies, which, do the math, pictures of fairies? Really? Come on, Nickelodeon. And there's this webcam on his computer.
Is your mother by coming in anyway? Could you stop with the crazy long enough to help Mommy? Mother, stop interrupting! Can't you see I'm busy? Ranting! But you need to put on this rubber dress so I can have it for the big dance tonight! I hate modeling your dresses! Although it does make me feel pretty. Oh well, at least no one I know can see this.
This is gold, and it's digitally recorded gold. I'm saving this.
Denzel Crocker worked at a number of different schools and colleges before ending up in Dimsdale Elementary School. He was once an aspiring professor for Dimsdale University, but his proclamation of his belief in fairies led him to becoming a laughingstock in all the city of Dimsdale. This theory continues to grow deeper when you look at his childhood. His mother was never around very often, and thus he got babysat by a mean babysitter named Vic. He is believed to have also had his own set of fairies before his memory was wiped clean, coming full circle to the life of Timmy Turner. Postulate 5. Wish Rehab. While mental health is clearly at play here, the drug aspect is the largest component of what we are trying to hint at. As we stated moments ago, Cosmo and Wanda are clearly metaphors for antidepressants, and after listing all the other factors at play, we think it's important to address Wish Rehab to prove our claims. This is a textbook case of schizophrenia. Wish Rehab, dubbed the Wishing Well, is a place where children with over-wishing disorder are sent to learn how to solve problems without using real magic, essentially. The same as any rehab if our theory proves to be true. Then Timmy is in a rehab learning to live his life and solve his problems without medications that he has now abused. In cartoon terminology, Jorgen sends Timmy Turner along with others to the Wishing Well. After noticing that Timmy cannot perform any normal activity without using magic in his everyday life, Jorgen introduced OWD, Overwishing Disorder, which is a disorder where godchildren overwork their godparents or become too reliant on fairy magic to function normally. Now, if all of this proves to be true, Timmy had one Netflix case documentary of a childhood. This theory opens up many doors which were once closed shut. Were there hints of underlying racism?
The negation!
What medication or drug is the baby poof supposed to be? Is Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome, richest man in Dimsdale, a part of a larger, controlling government operation? All of these will be solved in future episodes. Stay tuned, and God bless.
So we all know Timmy Turner is a little bit disturbed, a little bit mentally ill, you could say. Now, do you feel like this theory as a whole has merit, has a basis to it?
See, one of the things, I hear your question, but one thing that I want to actually ask you was, I saw this weird theory on Reddit. Leave everything to Reddit. This one's definitely a strange one. What if Timmy Turner was working the corner? What if he was, gay and his parents were abusing him for that, and that's why, he has like these fairies.
That could definitely be a theory, but for me, Trixie is the decider there. I feel like because of Trixie has a crush on Trixie, he can't be gay, but he could be bi and high.
That's strange, but I mean, the thing with Trixie, he can make that wish. Of course, with permission.
He definitely could. Should we leave that to maybe another theory, Timmy Turner Part 2?
Maybe we should.
See you guys next time.
Alright.